Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark. Today I'm making a part 2 of the video I made last week, so if you haven't seen last week's video, make sure you go watch it up here. But basically I did what it was like when I went to the Goodwill bins for the first time. I went about 2 weeks ago and I experienced the Goodwill bins. It was crazy, a lot of stuff happened, someone almost tried to fight me. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely check that video out. But today I'm making a part 2 on the different things that I picked up, what I saw at the bins, and how much I paid for everything that I got. I'll give you the pounds and how much I paid per pound. And I kind of want to just have some key highlights here and show you some really nice things that I found, and then maybe I'll say what I didn't pick up, because there was a couple items that were good that I didn't pick up for several different reasons. So I'm going to kind of run through what I saw at my bins, and maybe what you find at yours is a little bit different, but this is what I found at mine. So that's what today's video is going to be. So if that is something that interests you, please feel free to keep watching, and also give this video a like if you like the Goodwill bins content, because I will love to do more videos like this in the future when I go back to the Goodwill bins. I'm hoping I will get there every couple of months, if not more than that. So hopefully I'll have more Goodwill bins content in the future. But without further ado, let's get right into the video and let's talk about what I was able to find at the Goodwill bins. So let's start by breaking down the total cost of everything that I got, including the pounds, and then we'll go into actually what I picked up. I got bags and I also got clothing, and so they kind of separated it based on weight, and they had different rates for the bags and the clothing. So I got about 5 pounds of bags, and they were around $2.40 per pound. So that was about $12 for the bags that I paid. And I got a bunch of different bags, some really good ones, and some that I'm kind of regretting picking up. Overall, not too bad. I got a bunch of bags that I think will actually sell really well, so I think that will actually work out pretty well, and I'll be able to make back that $12 that I spent on those bags. In terms of the clothing, I picked up 34 pounds of clothing, and that was around $2.20 per item. So that actually ended up being about $77 for the clothing. So I paid a total of $89 for about 40 pounds worth of stuff, which is actually really good, and I was pretty happy about it. I know like some Goodwill bins actually have cheaper rates, and I know depending on when you go it might be cheaper. Let me know down below what your price per pound is. I'm kind of curious at the different Goodwills, but that's how mine was. And I actually got a lot of jackets, which is why it actually seems more, because I got a lot of weight. So a lot of the jackets actually were heavy, and so I think I picked up like 5 or 6 jackets, and so it made the pounds pretty high. And so maybe I would have been able to get more bang for my buck if I got less jackets, but because it's fall and I thought jackets would sell really well right now, I figured I'd go for it. And most of the time when I go to a Goodwill or any other thrift store, the jackets are typically $10 plus for each jacket. So I just figured this was definitely a cheaper way to go about it, because it wasn't just $10 per item. So that was also a really big plus. So if you ever want to buy jackets and source them, Goodwill bins is probably a better idea than going to a Goodwill, because they charge, at least at my Goodwill, they charge a flat rate for all different jackets. Overall, that is how much I paid for all the items that I got. And like I said, I got a lot of items. I had a whole cart full. I'll insert a picture of what it looked like, but I had a whole cart full of items, and it was about 3 garbage bags full of clothing in the car. And I didn't pick up any shoes. I couldn't find any matches. I think that was the hardest thing, was to try to find a pair of matching shoes. I saw a bunch of good individual shoes, but I guess because of the bins, everything is all thrown around and stuff. It was really hard to find a match. So I actually didn't pick up any shoes, which I love sourcing and I love picking up shoes. So maybe the Goodwill bins is not the best place to find shoes. But let me know down below if you've had any success picking up shoes at the Goodwill bins, because I couldn't find any matches, and I'm curious if it's easy to find matches, because I couldn't find any. So I just got purses and handbags and clothing. So let's start with the handbags. Since I only picked up a few, I can show you each of them. But with the clothing, because I picked up so many pieces of clothing, I will only show the highlights and talk about maybe some things that I picked up and I don't know why I picked up, because they kind of went into my cart somehow. But let's start with the purses. So my first one that I found, which is actually my favorite one, is this UGG shoulder bag. So it is almost like a suede kind of velvety material on the outside. It has the logo here, and it's just a little nice shoulder bag. It has the fur at the top here on the shoulder, and it's in very good condition, very minimal flaws. Actually, the bottom is leather, and I cleaned it off really well, and it looks pretty good. And this is just a nice bag. It's fur lined, and it has a lot of room on the middle. I actually buttoned it closed here, but it's a nice bag overall, and the story behind this bag, which makes this even better, is so I think if you saw my first video on the Goodwill bins saga, you will know that some lady tried to fight me over a Louis Vuitton and a Fendi bag. So at that bin, there was a bunch of different bags. There were some Coach bags, there was the 2 bags that she wanted, and then there was more bags. And so she was trying to get me to go away from that bin, and I didn't want to because I had known that like there was a lot of good ones in this bin. So I stayed, and I actually picked up a Coach bag as well. And then I soon realized that it actually had a lot of flaws, which is why I didn't pick it up. I'll insert a picture of what it looked like, but the lady actually told me, she's like, oh, you can have the Coach bag. I don't really want the Coach bag, but I want these other 2. And then it took me a second to realize why she didn't want the Coach bag, because it had a lot of flaws. So that's besides the point. But when I did some further digging into the bin, I found this UGG bag, and I was like, okay, well, I'll take the UGG bag. I think this will sell really well right now because it's like that fur material, and UGG sells really well in the winter time. So I was pretty happy with this bag. Yeah, it would have been nice to get the Fendi and the Louis Vuitton bag, but hey, the odds of those being fake are pretty high, and the odds of this being fake are pretty low. So I was pretty content getting this, and I really like this bag myself. So that's the first win of the day, and I looked up, you know, how much this would sell for, and it actually looks like it would sell pretty well. So I'm pretty excited to get this listed. I actually just made the drafts for this today, so I'm excited to see how quickly it will sell. The next bag that I picked up was kind of just something that I saw and I didn't really think anything of. It was just something I threw in the cart, and it, you know, was one of those bags where I didn't really need to pick it up, but it weighs like nothing, and I think it's a good common style. It's one of those lay and go makeup cosmetic bags where it scrunches up, you put all your makeup in, and then like you pull the string and it lays flat, and so you can see everything you have, and then you can scrunch it up for when you're traveling, and then it keeps everything in here. And so, and it has like a little hook and a drawstring. So I saw this, and again, I was like, okay, I don't really know the brand of it, but I know that these things are pretty popular, and again, it weighed like nothing, and it was in pretty good condition, like the quilting is pretty good. So I figured I would pick it up, and I know a lot of people are always looking for cosmetic bags. I know I am, and I'm like one of those people that likes to be organized, so this was like right up my alley, and I've seen that a lot of people love these, so I had to pick this up. And actually this sold today for $12, so I, you know, definitely made back what I paid because I spent $12 for all the bags. So this was definitely a win, and I'm excited to get this out. And overall, it was a nice win, and it was an unexpected win. The next bag that I picked up is a Gianni Berberini handbag. It has the 2 shoulder straps here. They are leather, and then it has the long, like, cloth strap. And this is adjustable. And so this is what the bag looks like. It's a pretty nice bag. It's in pretty good condition. It's got, like, the signature logo detailing with a zippered pouch in the back. And then the interior has 3 compartments, and it's overall in pretty good use condition. There are a few marks, especially on the strap, but I did do the listing for this already, and I did disclose this. And while this is not like a super good bag to pick up, it'll still sell, and I still think it was worth the, you know, little amount that I paid for all the different bags. So I definitely picked this one up, and I think this is a good stable bag for someone that's not really, you know, that doesn't care too much about the brand name. This is definitely a good bag for them to use on a day-to-day basis, and it's nice because you can remove this long strap as well. So this was a win, and I was pretty happy with this. The next bag that I picked up, which was actually in one of the other bins after I moved on from the bin with the UGG bag, was this suede Coach bag. So this is like in really good condition. It's like a maroonish burgundy color, and the only like flaw that I saw was there's this little dark spot you can kind of see on the screen here on the bottom, and I don't know if you had the right kind of cleaner, maybe you can clean that off. I don't really have a cleaner for this kind of bag, so I don't want to ruin it. So I did disclose that in the draft that I made, but it has a nice leather strap, and the strap is in very good condition, and it has the logo here on the side. And the inside of the bag is, like I said, pretty much in perfect condition, not many flaws at all. So I thought this was a good fall bag, and also just a winter bag, because this is a good material for the winter. And it's a nice crossbody, so like everyone loves a good crossbody bag. And the final bag that I picked up, I actually kind of regret, and I'll tell you why in a second, but it is this Nike backpack. And so it looks like it's in really good condition. And it's I think it's for soccer or volleyball, because you have this little front compartment here. And at first I was like, okay, a Nike backpack, those sell pretty well. It's very lightweight, so it didn't cost a lot to pick it up. And like I said, it was in really good condition, so I expected it to sell really well. And then when I got home, upon further investigating the bag, I saw this logo right here on the side, NH18. And I come to think that that's either someone's high school or someone's initials or something of that sort. And so that's gonna make this a little bit harder to sell. I'm not quite sure what to do with this bag. I'm not sure if I'm gonna try and sell it or if I'm just gonna redonate it. But let me know down below what you would do in this case, because I don't think this is supposed to be there. I think this is something that got personalized. But the bag is in really good condition overall. So like, and I looked up this specific bag and it sells for like $40–50. So like, it's definitely a good bag to sell. But I think because of this logo name being on it, it's gonna make it a little harder to sell. So overall, those are the bags that I picked up, and I'm pretty happy with them. I think most of them will actually sell really well, and so I'll definitely make back the $12 that I spent on all the bags. I also picked up a dust bag, and I'll insert a picture of it now, but I didn't really know what the brand was, but it looked expensive and it said handmade in Italy, so I figured it had to be worth something. And because a dust bag weighs absolutely nothing, I was like, I might as well just pick it up and see. And since I can't really find any information on the brand or anything about the dust bag, but I just figure I'll list it and see what happens. In the next category, I picked up a bunch of jackets, like I said before. So I'll insert some pictures of the jackets. I won't show you each one individually, but I picked up a lot of good jackets for this time of year. So one was a London Fog jacket. It had like a puffer detail on the chest area and the body area, and then it was like a cloth material on the sleeves. So that was a good jacket to, you know, stay warm, and it had like little finger holes, and then like it zipped up the front and had zipper pockets. That one wasn't in like super good condition, but like I did some cleaning of it today and actually it looks pretty good. And everyone loves a good puffer jacket, and London Fog is a pretty good brand, so I was pretty happy with that. The next bag that I picked up was a loft like trench coat jacket, and again, those are very popular right now, and it had like a nice belt with it, and I think it'll sell pretty well because that style is very trendy, especially for like the fall months and also into the winter months. The next two jackets I picked up, one being a gallery pea coat. I don't really know much about this brand, but the pea coat itself looks really good, and again, I thought it was a popular style coat for this time of year, so I had to pick it up. It was like pretty much in perfect condition, and I looked it up and those actually sell decently well, so I thought it would sell pretty well. And then the next jacket that I picked up was a Kenneth & Cole longer jacket. It was like a puffer like jacket. It had a faux fur hood, and it also was in like perfect condition, and I just figured like it was a good winter jacket, and that's a, you know, reputable brand, so I thought it would actually be a really good thing to pick up. And then the next couple of jackets I picked up like some blazers or some blazer jackets, one being a lace suit blazer, and that was in perfect condition. I think it was actually like new without tag. It was like a red with like some mixes of black in it, and that one's already getting a lot of interest on Poshmark, so I think that will sell pretty well. And so that was kind of like the main mix of jackets I got. I got some other ones here and there, but those were like the highlights. In terms of the rest of the stuff that I purchased, I got stuff from, you know, intimates such as robes. I got this very nice Ralph Lauren robe. It was in, you know, near perfect condition. There was one little spot on it, but it was like this nice blue color with some white detailing, and it came with the tie. So I just like picked that up because I've never actually really sold robes before on Poshmark, but I thought it was a very good thing to find, and it was a green label, which they don't make anymore, so I thought that would make it sell even better. And then I picked up a lot of things like intimates, so I picked up a couple bras. I found a couple Victoria's Secret bras, and actually one of them already sold. And so I don't know, I saw a bunch of them, and some were strapless, some were, you know, padded, and I know Victoria's Secret bras actually sell really well for me, so I just kind of had to pick them up. They were all in really good condition. And then I picked up some sleepwear shorts. I think they were like Tommy Hilfiger red shorts with like the polka dots. So I had to pick those up because I thought those were kind of Christmassy. So if you live in like a more warm climate for the holidays, those would be perfect. And then I picked up a UGG scarf, which that I was really happy to find because it was like a knit material on the outside with a fur material on the inside, and that was in perfect condition. And again, I was really happy to find UGG because that is a brand that sells really well, and for it being a scarf, it was in near perfect condition, so that also made it really exciting when I picked that up. And then I picked up a bunch of tops and pants, but like nothing like crazy, no, you know, crazy brands or anything. I found Anthropologie, Fabletics, And then I found a bunch of mall brands, and I've actually picked up a lot of brands that I wouldn't normally pick up just because they were really cheap. So I picked up brands such as like Banana Republic, I think I picked up Abercrombie, and different brands like that, where it's like I would definitely not source those at a Goodwill just because I don't want to pay a lot for them. A couple other brands that I picked up were a pair of Nike leggings, which were something I actually wanted to keep for myself, but I decided not to. They're in really good condition. And then I picked up some Victoria's Secret pink leggings as well that were also in good condition. I also picked up a pair of like almost like pajama pants. They were like a leopard print, but they were like more of like a baggy pant. I don't know if they're actually supposed to be pajamas or if they're supposed to be actual pants, but they looked cute and I just had to pick them up. And then I picked up a Calvin Klein one-piece bathing suit, and that was like a nice find because it was in really good condition. It was a nice color, and Calvin Klein is a decent brand, so I just kind of had to pick that one up. So I definitely picked up some more odds and ends, but I think that was kind of a wrap on the highlights on the things that I picked up. But I also wanted to kind of touch on, I actually picked up a bunch of kids items, which I don't normally source, especially not at Goodwill or, you know, thrift stores, because they kind of cost a lot. But I picked up a couple kids items because I was really drawn to them. They were really cute, and a lot of them were holiday items, so I think they'll sell pretty well because they're more holiday-esque. So I picked up a couple Santa outfits or Santa pieces. Then I picked up a onesie set with a pair of pants that was for like an infant. Then I picked up a little cute Old Navy dress. It was like a little pink dress with little mini hearts on it, quilting detail, so that was a nice find. And then I also picked up a Nike like dry fit tight shirt for a little boy. It's like a nice red color, and I think that will sell pretty well. I'm not really sure. I don't really sell a lot of kids stuff, but I was pretty excited. And a lot of these kids items, they don't weigh a lot, they don't cost a lot, so it was fine picking them up. And I also picked up a pair of Abercrombie kids leggings, but I have since realized they have a couple stains on them and I can't get the stains out, and they're kind of all over the place, so I think I'm just gonna have to redonate those. But I thought they were a good color. They were like a green color, and so I thought they would sell pretty well, but I have since realized that I'm not probably gonna list those. Oh, and last but not least, in terms of things that I picked up a couple men's items, which again I wouldn't normally do. It's the same thing with the kids items. I wouldn't normally source those, but because they were, you know, relatively cheap, I figured I would. So I picked up a couple pairs of men's shorts, one that I'm not actually going to be able to list just because the stains I can't really get out of and they're kind of all over the place. But then I picked up another pair of Club Monaco shorts that I think will actually sell pretty well. I actually really like the style of them, so I picked those up. And then I picked up a couple men's sweaters. So I picked up two cable knit blue sweaters, and then I picked up a Tahari blue v-neck sweater. And again, I don't normally source a lot of men's stuff, but I think these pieces will sell well because of the time of year and because of, you know, how good of a condition they're actually all in. In terms of what I either didn't pick up or regret picking up, so there was a Coach bag, like I mentioned earlier, that was kind of damaged, so I didn't pick that up. There was a pair of Michael Kors denim jeans that I was about to pick up because I actually didn't really pick up that many denim pants this whole trip. So I was gonna pick the Michael Kors denim up, but then they were kind of like stretched out in the leg area. And then in terms of what I kind of regret picking up, I already kind of discussed, I regret picking up the Nike bag just because I think that's gonna be a little harder to sell with the initials on it. And then there was a Zara top that I picked up. It's like a nice white sheer top, and it has the Swiss dot detailing on it. And I thought it was like a really trendy piece because Swiss dot and like the sheer tops, and it was a button down. That's like a really trendy style, so I got really excited when I picked it up. But then I've since realized that it has a major rip in the back on the shoulder where the stitching is. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to fix that piece or not. It was a nice find, but I kind of regret picking it up now. There was a couple other pieces that I regret picking up that I'm not really sure how they made it into my cart. I think there was an Ann Taylor like blue short sleeve plain blouse that I would have never picked up, and I'm not quite sure how it got in there. Maybe it was stuck to something else. So overall, I was pretty happy with everything I picked up. There was only a couple little things here and there that like I didn't really need to pick up or shouldn't have picked up. So if I can tell you one thing from this experience, it's just to make sure you double check your items. I know it's really hard when you're there and you have a full cart of things and you don't have a lot of room to kind of check everything, but I also heard someone tell me that if you shine a light, like you shine your phone light on the items, it'll help you determine the stains or the flaws better, because I couldn't really see that well, and I was just kind of like, okay, I think this is fine, and then I missed a bunch of flaws or stains or rips. So I recommend shining a light, really taking the time to go through and make sure the items don't have flaws before you go and check out, and that way you can ensure that you're only buying things that are going to really sell well. So that is a wrap on all the things that I picked up at the Goodwill bins and also the things that I didn't pick up. So let me know down below your thoughts on what I picked up, what I found, if you think the pieces will sell really well, and I want to know what your best find and your worst find at the Goodwill bins were. So something that you picked up that sold really well for you, or you think is going to sell really well for you, and then something that you picked up and you don't know why you picked up, or didn't really sell well, or it's sitting for you. Let me know down below in the comments. But if you want to see a video on things that you shouldn't do on Poshmark, you can click right here. And if you want to see part 1 of the Goodwill bins, of my experience at the Goodwill bins and the craziness that I experienced there, click right here. But until next time, I'll see you then.